Man's proposal at baseball game goes horribly wrong in a cringe-worthy scene. This is probably one of like the worst, like the world's worst marriage proposals. And the reason why we're going to talk about this is because when it comes to like marriage, it has a very big impact on someone's finances, which we talk about, which is finances. So let's get into this. But actually, you know what? Let's also watch this. Oh my gosh, she's shaking her fist. She's like, no, 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 no. That is so brutal. That is so brutal. Okay, so he struck out. An embarrassing video appears to show the moment a man's marriage proposal at a minor league baseball game in Massachusetts goes horribly wrong as his girlfriend publicly rejects him and runs away. Right? Like she was like shaking her head so much, right? Like you could even see like right here, right here. She's literally backing up away and she's like, no, 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 no. Right? Ah, man. So in the footage, the unnamed guy pops the question in front of a crowd of fans in a dugout at a Worcester Red Sox home game on Thursday, according to now viral footage posted by the Instagram account What's the Word Massachusetts. So the would-be romantic gesture prompted cheers at Polar Park, but instead of swooning, his stunned girlfriend put her hands over her mouth and shook her head no. I have to go, she can be heard saying before bolting up the stairs and leaving him alone on one knee. But also, I think she said, I'm sorry as well. But here's the thing, right? Like, this is the thing that you could kind of understand from like multiple different situations. Right? Well, because here's the thing, right? One, she might have actually said yes if it was like in a different situation, right? She might have said yes if it was like more in like a private situation, maybe after like, you know, a very loving dinner or something like that. But in like a very public setting, there's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable in that, right? So I can understand her like basically rejecting him in that kind of situation because she might be someone who is like a very like introverted person, and this guy just basically was like, hey, I'm making this public saying that, hey, I want you to marry me. And she's like, yo, what the hell? That's not how we roll, right? But you never know. Well, let's continue on the story. So the woman was horrified after the proposal. She ran up the stairs. The gentleman ran after her with two of his buddies. Stephen Wooster, a fan in attendance, told the radio station 98.5, the Sports Hub, I saw the whole thing. It was horrifying. So the cringe-inducing proposal, which was also played on the stadium's massive screen, which was also what she looked at, because again, you can see her right here, right in this section. She literally looks up at the screen at herself, literally getting proposed to and like getting rejecting the guy. Oh man, it's so brutal. So the cringe, which played on the stadium's massive screen, sparked speculation from witnesses that the moment was so awful, it had to have been staged. And here's the thing, right? Like this could have been like one of those like TikTok, YouTube shorts, being like, oh yeah, you know, oh I proposed to my girlfriend, but you know, this happened kind of situation, right? And it gets like 100 million views or something stupid, right? With like the worst acting ever, right? The only thing is, I could see this being more of like a real situation just because there's a lot of people who have been proposed to in this type of situation legitimately and rejected their boyfriend that ended up doing this, right? And there's like a lot of videos out there that exist of people ending up doing this exact thing, right? Like where, you know, maybe it's like a boyfriend of maybe only like a year, right? And the boyfriend, for some reason, thinks that she's the one, and then, they propose to her in a super public setting when they haven't been serious for that long, right? So it just really depends on the situation. Like, obviously, like, unless you like know the insides of their lives, of their relationship, you don't really know what's truly going on. It could be 100% fake, or it could be something real, right? But again, let's continue on the story. But a source with knowledge of the incident told the Post the proposal was planned and that family members of the couple were in the crowd, and one sign that it was a real-life romantic fumble. It was definitely not a stunt in any way by the club, and every indication from those involved was that it was sincere, said Bid Wanless, vice president of communications for the Worcester Red Sox. But we haven't heard anything from the parties involved. And Ashley Green, a photographer who filmed footage of the guy getting rejected, told Insider without elaborating that she believed it may have been a stunt. And then there's other observers took to Twitter to warn that public marriage proposals may not always be a home run. This one of the best rejections of all time, LOL, one user correct. Now here's the thing, right? What can we learn in this situation in like a financial context, right? The thing is, this would actually help the guy potentially thinking like, hey, is this person actually meant for me, right? Because if this person was actually meant for me and I was going to do something like this, then they probably would have said yes, right? And in doing so, that means you basically believe along the same lines, like you kind of like have the same type of habits, belief structure, in the sense that you probably also match financially and how you view money, right? Because if you don't view the same thing as like a public proposal, like let's for example say that she denied him because this was a public proposal and not more of like a private setting, right? This shows like a disconnect between the two of them, meaning that there's probably more than just this situation that they're not matching on, like finances. One of them might be super high, like have like a super large amount of debt that they might have, whereas the other one might be 100% debt free and doesn't even have a credit card or anything like that, right? Like they might just be clashing too much in how they even view money, how they view life in general, how they view like politics, how they view religion. And so this is actually like, if this like is a real thing, this is actually a good sign for both of them to be like, hey, this happened. She did not say yes. There wasn't really a connection, right? They didn't really agree on this point. Maybe we don't belong together. And in doing so, that could actually end up saving them hundreds, if not millions of dollars along the lines in the future, right? Because for people who end up getting married to the wrong person, that could be a lifetime mistake financially speaking, right? Especially if there's like no prenups involved, especially if like, there's like a very large difference between the two of them when it comes to an income scale. It definitely can end up becoming a situation where they might be like chained together, even though they might not love each other anymore, right? You might have someone who just continuously spends money nonstop, and the other one's trying to save money, and then they just clash and fight, and who knows, maybe it gets even physical at like an eventual point, like you don't know, right? Like these are all factors to think about when it comes to like marriage, right? And so you really gotta like sit down and talk to the person, possibly get like a marriage counselor, like pre-marriage counseling, and basically be like, hey, I think this relationship is getting pretty serious. Maybe we should go sit down, talk to someone, and like basically be 100% open in like what we believe in. What are we thinking about marriage? What are our views on marriage? How do we want what is our ideal picture of what marriage would be like? Because this is the thing, right? There's so many people that don't even talk about this before they get married and completely screw themselves financially. And so this type of situation, again, if this is like a real situation, they can learn from it and be like, hey, maybe if we want to try to get this to keep working, we need to sit down with a pro and basically be like, just hash out whatever it is that we are not connecting on, because this should never be even in a situation where someone would be rejected in a marriage proposal if you guys were thinking along the same lines as to the future of the relationship, right? Like if you guys had like a picture of your guys' future, like what it's going to be like, then a marriage proposal wouldn't be surprising, and you would say yes even if it was in a public setting, because you guys would already have agreed on so many things as to like the picture of everything that you would want in a future marriage, in a future relationship, right? So that's something to really think about, and what anyone who stumbles upon this episode can learn from is like, hey, maybe we're not really meant to be together. And if that's the case, it could actually save a lot of money, and potentially they end up finding someone else that agrees with them more so along the lines of doing these like public displays of affection, or, you know, agree with them financially as well, that could end up securing their future for generations, right? So it's something to really think about. And feel free to give your thoughts at 40inbox.com. Feel free to contact us. But if you are needing help with mastering your money, go to the description below and learn how to master your money. And we'll see you in future episodes. But there's a lot of things like this that you can learn from life. And we'll just see you in future episodes. Peace out.